Hello again, friends! Hopefully you all have had a chance to see Captain America the Winter Soldier. If you haven't, don't worry, I have a spoiler-free review. Go ahead, check that out. That'll be fun for you. Then watch the movie because it's awesome, then come back here and watch this video. 3 bits of entertainment for you guys. Point is, Captain America the Winter Soldier, it's necessary to do a spoiler video on. This is gonna be a heavy spoiler-filled video, so yeah, don't watch this if you haven't watched the movie. It's necessary because things I wanted to talk about in my review, I really couldn't. I needed to give props that I couldn't give props to without it being a spoiler. Example. Props to the chemistry with all the characters in the movie. And that point, you gotta mention Steve Rogers and Scarlet Johansson, you know, Black Widow. Their chemistry was great. I liked how they interacted together. Like, just a small example is when they're in the mall and they're trying to evade the douchebags. She's like, kiss me, public displays of affection that make people uncomfortable, so he has to kiss her. And sure enough, the guy turns away, and I like stuff like that. When you're evading people, I like it when someone's smart enough to use human psychology to actually evade people. Not just put on a ball cap and be like, inconspicuous. This movie put Black Widow in the forefront for me. I was like, that chick's awesome. I always knew she was hot. It's Scarlet Jo. We all love Scarlet Jo. But she is a formidable and badass Avenger. I'm just saying, I almost would like to see her in her own movie. But most of all, for me, guys, this is the movie. This is the best Nick Fury film I've ever seen. Of all the Marvel movies, Nick Fury was the most badass, the most relevant, and the deepest character he's ever been. I couldn't say that though, because if I was like, Nick Fury is so great, he steps it up in this movie. He is in the forefront also. At a point when he's dead, you'd be like, wait a minute, Jeremy said he's awesome in this movie and he hasn't really been awesome yet, which means he's alive. Yeah, see how a compliment could be a spoiler? It's why I gotta hold back sometimes. But he was honestly great, and a lot of people were like, I knew he wasn't dead, they're not gonna kill him off. I have been thinking for a while, I'm like, I wonder how long Samuel L. Jackson's gonna actually be Nick Fury in these movies. I think Captain America is wearing his Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. outfit in this movie, and I'm like, maybe he just dies in this one. So when he died, I thought Nick Fury was actually dead, so the fact that he wasn't dead, I was like, oh, okay. But above all else, I give this movie credit for the balls. This movie had balls. Do you find out in this movie that Hydra has been growing inside S.H.I.E.L.D. for a long time? It's like this political parasite. It's rooted in there. Like I said, the Winter Soldier, he's cool because he's there to cause problems, but he's not the bad guy. The bad guys were actually the good guys, and that's a moral shade of gray. And it goes on what Steve Rogers has to deal with now. He's like, I fought a war because I wanted to, because it was honorable, because I wanted to serve my country, but that's not what we do now. And when wars change, the political assholes pulling the strings, they get power hungry and they become douchebags, and now they're the bad guys. Sometimes you work for them, but it doesn't change the fact that they're bad guys. Captain America's like, I don't care if I work for you. You're a bad guy, you're an asshole, I'm gonna take you down. That's what he does. Hydra, S.H.I.E.L.D., we're burning it all to the ground and pissing on the ashes. So by the end of this movie, you're like, S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone? Which makes me wonder how the rest of these Marvel movies are gonna go without S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. canceled now? How can you have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when you don't have a S.H.I.E.L.D. to have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gonna touch on the fact that there's no longer any S.H.I.E.L.D., or is there a S.H.I.E.L.D. and I just think that there's no S.H.I.E.L.D.? It makes you think about where things are gonna go now. I mean, I imagine, yeah, they'll restructure, they'll rebuild it bigger, better, and, you know, for the good guys. So the Winter Soldier, we know, it's his friend Bucky from Captain America 1. You know, the dude that fell off the train and died in that one segment that totally reminds me of Uncharted 2? Yeah, the train scene in Uncharted 2, it is. The bummer is I had that spoiled for me. When the first trailer came out, I was like, oh, Winter Soldier, and I Googled Winter Soldier. Dumb thing to do, I guess. I just thought he was some asshole, but I didn't know it was his friend Bucky, so I see a picture of the dude from Captain America 1. It's like, Bucky is the Winter Soldier. I was like, I didn't want to know that. Careful what you Google, which is a rule of thumb that we all know. It's just one of those things where it's just, you don't think it's important, and then it is. Which Captain America doesn't want to kill this guy, but this guy clearly wants to kill Captain America. By the end of the movie, you can tell the Winter Soldier's like, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna kick your fucking balls in, but you're not dead. So by the end of the movie, he puts Steve Rogers down, he just walks off. He's gonna go figure out his shit, which makes me interested as to if he's gonna pop up again, which I get excited for because I'm like, who are they gonna have in the Marvel movies to come? Wouldn't that be so awesome in Avengers 2? We're talking all of the Avengers from the first Avengers movie and all the sidekicks they've accrued thus far. War Machine, Bucky, everyone's just going after bad dudes. If I were some intergalactic asshole, I would never mess with this planet ever. The post-credit scenes are interesting, but post-credit scenes are only so interesting at this point for me. Nothing will ever beat the first time you saw Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury say he's here to talk about the Avengers initiative. Ever since then, it's a series of things that are just not as good. However, we do get a glimpse of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, which is actually pretty cool. Y'all play Marvel heroes, you know who Scarlet Witch is. You don't? Well, she's in there. Which is funny because Quicksilver is actually in Days of Future Past also. In this one, he can't be a mutant, I guess, because mutants are 20th Century Fox. 20th Century Fox, the same character, just different different take, I guess, which makes it interesting for me. I'm like, that's weird that you can have the same guy, he's just not done in the same way. In which case, can we have a guy named Wolverine who has claws coming out of his hands, but he's not a mutant, so it's kind of not the same? Then we can have Spider-Man, but he wasn't bitten by a radioactive spider, so it's different. Looks like there's this shade of gray among contracts and characters that can be in movies and whatnot. So can we do that? Can we just have everyone? I say we do, and if you can't, do it anyway. Yeah, you'll get sued to shit, you'll hate it financially, but we'll love you for it. I love the fact that he gets his old costume from World War II in this movie. I mean, the new outfit's great and all, but my favorite outfit Captain America has ever had was the one in the first Captain America movie. It was cool. It was just like World War II tech and straps. I was just like, how are they gonna make a Captain America suit look good? Then it looks like it belongs in World War II. I'm like, that looks good. Everything in this movie I felt was optimized to be the best thing it could possibly be in this movie. Captain America the Winter Soldier was great. I loved it. It was one of those movies I walked out of this movie with the same feeling I had when I walked out of the first Iron Man. I'd say it's Avengers, Iron Man, and Captain America the Winter Soldier. Those are my 3 favorite Marvel movies. So Captain America the Winter Soldier, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.